Wait. Oh god. Physical stuff, Pizzuto.
Yeah, there we go. Here we go. Count that. Did that count? Oh, that would have been great if that counted. I don't want to stop doing this. Not just any tampon, the devil's tampon. In stores near you. What's in here? Oh, hey, there you go. What's up? Oh, look, it's you again. Great.
Hello everyone, and welcome to the OPSEAT video podcast. I'm your host, Drew P. Jors, Twitch partner and social media manager for OPSEAT. We created this podcast to introduce you to successful gamers who have used various strategies to build personal brands and make a profit with them. Now, please make sure to like and subscribe wherever you enjoy your live streams or your podcasts. Today, we are joined by Twitch partner and streamer NeoNess007. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure, and with OPSEAT, we've been kind of working together for quite some time now, and I mean, it's an honor to have you on here. Now, if you could, please tell us what most people might recognize you for.
What might most people recognize me for? My Warframe content so far, but that can't be the only thing. For now, it's Warframe, yeah.
There you go. I mean, it seems like you've been enjoying the game for quite some time now. I mean, even through some of your first uploads through YouTube and Twitch, we saw that you had like such an amazing spike when you started uploading Warframe content.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that took a little while. It was probably about 6 months of me just getting the hang of editing videos and mainly learning YouTube, like learning what behind the scenes things had to be done in order to get the video shared by the algorithm on YouTube. After a while of kind of messing with stuff and seeing what works and what doesn't, it kind of started to take off, I guess. And then I also put myself in the category of how to earn the free premium currency and how to earn the premium currency in the game, which a lot more people might be familiar with that as if I explained it like it's V-Bucks in Fortnite, how to get free V-Bucks, so to speak.
I believe the Warframe currency that you're like referring to is called Platinum.
Yes.
Now, you have a lot of like intelligent guides and things like that put together for, you know, either getting platinum or the perfect builds for basically all your characters in Warframe. Where do you get all of this knowledge? Is it just by playing the game, or is it something that you kind of look at stats all day?
Thank you for asking. I've actually spent on and off about 10 to 12 years working in the financial field. Like I've gotten fully licensed and all that stuff to be a financial advisor, between my series licenses, insurance licenses, and just like all that stuff, like the whole shebang. And I loved it. Well, half of it. I loved the knowledge and I loved the people skills that I learned from it.
Yeah.
But the sales part of it, that's why I'm not doing that anymore. It's just I cannot stand when you have all the smart information that you hand to somebody and they come back to you with what the average person does is, yeah, this looks good. I'll think about it. Mm-hmm. I can't stand that. That's like, yo, I've got the elixir to life right here. It's gonna save you. All you gotta do is just take some. And they're like, no, cool, yeah, you know, freaking never get sick again, live forever, sort of thing, or whatever it is, you know, like never have any ailments. I'll think about it. And it's just, it's like, what's wrong with you? Like, it's literally why I stopped the financial field. But everything else about it, aside from the sales, I loved all that stuff.
It's fantastic to actually, you know, have your real world experience with all the financial advising and everything play, you know, such a direct impact in video gaming or basically gaining trust within the community, which is, I guess, something not a lot of people think about, especially, you know, being in sales. Like I used to be in sales personally as well, and I hated the sales part because I'm like, this is the easy route. This is what you need to do. And it's nice that you're able to take that out in a platform that allows you to be so creative with it.
Yeah. To what you said, to like, you know, with like showing people getting results and that sort of stuff. Like it's in the videos. It's almost like you can't even go wrong. Like I'm showing people literally in the videos, like if you say this is the likely response you'll get, and this is where you go from there. You know, and like it's really quite simple. Like I think the challenge, I'm sure you've come across this too a lot in your past with sales, is that like it's people stand in their own way. They complicate it for themselves. You know, like it's really not that difficult. I have and I've said this before in videos. I know 8-year-olds that are making more platinum than you. It's like it's true. I have people, all types of people watch my videos, and I've literally had people contact me, be like, "Thank you so much. You know, like I've made 1,000 platinum. I've made 10,000 platinum in the last 2 weeks." Or he'll be like, "I made 15,000 platinum this month," and that's fantastic. Like that's like big dog numbers.
Yeah.
You know, like that's crazy. That's just great. But like they'll be like, "Yeah, I'm 10. I'm 8, I'm 12, like whatever." And then I got full-blown adults that want to argue my methods. And like, you know what? Okay.
Whatever, yeah.
Yeah, whatever works for you.
Definitely. Now, I mean, even having like backlash or anything like that from people trying to like discuss or I guess really dive deep into your methods and everything, does it create like kind of a rift of wanting to create content on YouTube over Twitch, or which do you prefer?
See, the ironic thing is that YouTube is way better set up for success. I'd rather be streaming, but I'm suffering more because I'm not putting more energy into YouTube. And I'm aware of that, and that's going to change. There's a method to my madness and all this, but I'm definitely going to start putting more content on YouTube. The challenge is that I've gotten them so used to, and I've built such an audience on Warframe content that if I do anything else, I'm getting a lot of not so positive feedback. You know, what happened to I could put one video up and they're like, "Oh, you quit Warframe 2," or "Oh, you don't like the game anymore," or you just whatever. It's all that stuff. And then I'll get more dislikes on a video that has nothing to do with Warframe, even if it's loaded with info or has great information or whatever, or it's just entertaining, you know, in whatever way you look at it. If it's not Warframe, the audience that I built with Warframe, and I can't speak for all of them. There are a lot of great, you know, I have a lot of great people in my community I'm very thankful for. They're what I call the foundation, what I think a lot of content creators should be more focused on than the numbers. You need to be focused on your foundation. And for the people listening to the podcast, you know, like think about it like this, like what's the most important structure or what is the most important part of any house? Let's say, like if you're building your house, if you're building your community, whatever, the most important part is your foundation. Mm-hmm. You know, that concrete basement. Like if you don't have a concrete solid foundation for your house to sit on, it's just going to wash away. Like any little thing happens to it, the whole thing's going to topple over. You need those hardcore people that are there for you and your content or whatever it winds up being. And that's what matters more than anything. It's not the haters. It's not the people that are picky. It's the people that like you for you, your content for your content, and they don't care what it is. Like that's what I think a lot of people need to be more focused on as far as like, you know, building, since we talked about, you know, getting into like content creating and all that stuff.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, you've built that amazing foundation within Warframe. But I mean, if you ever want to like dip out, you've obviously seen some like drawbacks, but what kind of helps you avoid, you know, burnout within Warframe? As a lot of partners or a lot of like streamers and content creators, recently they've been talking about things like burnout. How do you kind of avoid that over the years of creating content for that?
This might sound, what's the word? Sassy, but I guess I'm from New York. I'm absolutely sassy. It's more about being real here and honest and truthful. Mm-hmm. It's being smart enough to know when to stop playing the game every day. Like that's all you do to avoid burnout. Like I feel like they just push it and they just feel like they don't want to be doing it, but then they convince themselves they can't do anything else. They have to do this, and they don't even try to do anything else. And they do that so much that it just explodes on them, and then they don't want to do it anymore. It's being smart enough on a daily basis to know where your line is when you're approaching that line and to stop before you hit it. And that's it. I mean, my brand, where I'm going and all that sort of stuff, it's gamer thick and thin. Like it's all the way through. It is gaming. Whether my entire life, you know, even when I was in finance, you know, when I did everything else before that, I delivered pizza, I worked at bars. I mean, I was like, there was a 4-year period of my life when I bought a new car. I worked 7 days a week. You know, like hardcore. Kind of forgot where I was going with this already. I'm so good. I'm a gamer. You know, I'm a gamer because the ADD. That's what it is.
A little bit, yeah.
But like, okay, it's 100%. Whatever I was doing in my past, I remember now. Whatever I was doing in my past, whether I was having a good day, a bad day, whether I, you know, got a new girlfriend or got broken up with, whatever mood I could have possibly been in, I was gaming. That's all I ever wanted to do. And it just took that long for me to realize, oh crap, I could actually do this for a living. I could actually be a content creator and continue doing it. You know, because there's all those people in your life that are like, why don't you go to college, get a job, you know, have some stability, you know, like all that sort of stuff. And it's like, I hated that. I've always been rebellious growing up. I've always risked it for the biscuit. I've always like, I don't want a normal life. I don't know how else to put it. I won't have a normal life. That's just not my style.
And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. And, you know, it's also, it takes, you know, it's also being smart enough to realize that you have, you know, that aha moment where you could keep playing games instead of getting a traditional job. And out of curiosity, what was that aha moment for you where you could still be rebellious and still play games and not have that normal life? What was that moment?
It was... I know this is going to... All right. And again, this is being truthful and it's being honest. And I'm not calling everybody out on Twitch. This was over 4 years ago before I got started. We'll say maybe about 5 years ago, I started actually watching Twitch. And I'm watching people that have like 10,000, you know, people watching them or whatever. And they're ignoring their chat. They're just playing the game. And like, I didn't know any better. I realize now that if I had 10,000 people watching me, I'm not going to be able to read every comment.
Yeah.
But like at the time I'm watching this and I'm looking at this and I'm like, you're not even giving a shit about the people that are there. Like, how could I not trump you right now? Like literally, how could I not do better than how you're doing right now? And as far as like the gaming goes and all that sort of stuff, like unless you are at the top of the leaderboards in a certain game, like most Twitch streamers aren't. If you think about, there's over 20,000 partnered streamers in the United States alone. There's not enough room for everybody to be on top as far as like best gamer goes, but there's still that many partnered Twitch streamers and stuff. And for them to be able to do this full time, for them, obviously not all of them, but for them to be able to do it, you know, and make a living off it and all that sort of stuff, I just sat back and my aha moment was literally looking at the few channels I had found to that point, realized what they were doing, and had with all the people skills I learned in sales, literally was looking at this like, there is no way I couldn't do this better. Like, yeah. I just was already like, and I wasn't necessarily a super confident person. I wasn't necessarily like I have a joke now on my channel because of all these other YouTubers and streamers that are like, well, I have more subscribers than you, so I get to cut the line sort of mentality. Man.
Yeah.
Sort of thing. So I've been working on this character and stuff, and it's basically along the lines of that. It's kind of like, that's what I saw at first. And I'm not saying I was that bad because I had no subscribers and nobody following me or anything like that. But in my mind, I was comparing it to the people skills I had to learn while I was in sales and everything. And I'm watching them and I'm like, I can't believe that you just ignore everybody here and they're just throwing money at you. Like, you know, like I see people not thanking for subs or donos or everything because they're so focused on the game. And I'm watching this and it's just like, oh my God, I can do this. I know I can do this. I mean, I could do this blindfolded with both hands and feet tied behind my back. I could do this. Like, it was just, I don't know. I was, again, not that I don't believe that. I believe everybody's an equal no matter what, you know, at least mentally anyway. You know, like, I'm not saying like physical strength and stuff. Like, let's not get too into the technical of it, but like everybody is an equal to me, at least mentally. Like, you are, yeah. Like, as a person existing during the same time that I'm existing, I'm going to treat you like an equal I don't care what accolades you do or do not have. You know, you're a person to me. You're special because you're here. And I watched these other, streamers before I got started, and I'm just like, you don't even kind of treat them like they're people. Like they're just, I almost feel like you're just like, I'm going to play a game for like 8 hours and my chat moves, like, and that's it. I don't know. I never felt like there was any actually getting to respect anybody, getting to know anybody, getting to, care about anybody, like see what anybody's about and stuff. And I felt like that was just easy for me. Like I had to do that every day anyway at that point in my life. That's all I was doing.
Yeah, it seems like there was a lack of community and you were able to, basically just figure out how to relate to people and bring it to a live show, which was informational. So you kind of like a lot of people, they find success in, either being the top gamer in that directory or whatever, or being able to learn something and take something away from every day. And that's something that you've been able to show off very, very well. Whether it was through your financial, background, but just the amount of knowledge that even 8-year-olds or 10-year-olds could take from your videos is absolutely fantastic. And whether it's adults like trying to like dive deep into your methods, it's something that you've given to the Twitch community very, very well through multiple directories. And that's something that we've seen, which is really, really cool. And at what point did you realize that what you were doing was working after you did start streaming? Like, how long did it take before you, got your check mark on Twitch as a Twitch partner?
That took a couple of years, and there was a lot of lessons I had to learn. And thankfully, I wasn't so stubborn. And I've been on it for a long time in my life. Like I guess that self-growth train, that self-improvement movement, as people would call it. So I've already got background of years of experience, and this one saying is coming out right now, like burned into my brain. It's that it's the insanity thing. Do the same thing over and expecting different results is the definition of insanity. So after 3 months of all right, let me break it down like this. My first 3 months of streaming, I was in the wrong directory. I love Grand Theft Auto. I was doing that for approximately 3 to 3.5 months. And within that first 3 months, I gained 74 followers. Not subs. It was 3 months, 74 followers. I was also fortunate enough at that point in my life to have been working at a bar. I worked there long enough that I nailed the Friday and Saturday shift and made enough money that I didn't have to work the rest of the week. So for 5 days of the week, I was pulling 16-hour streams on Grand Theft Auto for 3 months. And I gained 74 followers. I was in the wrong directory for 3 months. Like there's no other way to look at that. Like, and then I started getting into Warframe. And when Warframe happens, I started growing a lot faster, and there were a lot more people that cared, and a lot more people that I guess enjoyed being there. And then it took me probably there was like another 6-month period where I realized that like I've been stuck at like 20 viewers now. Like I was able to grow when I got out of Grand Theft Auto. I was in a smarter directory, and the only reason I say it's a smarter directory is because I just got started, and I'm on a game where all the big fish in the world are playing this game, and nobody knows who the hell I am. Nobody knows what I'm about. I don't exist to the world, even though I'm putting the time in. And that's a fallacy. A lot of people you just have to stream more if you want to get noticed. That's bullshit. In every which way you look at it. And it's like word vomit. It's just people hear it and they just keep regurgitating the same bullshit because everyone else is saying it. It's not true. Like just because you stream forever doesn't mean you're going to grow a big community. If you suck, and people aren't going to watch you. And in my case, what I sucked at was not controlling my chat for the first 6 months. So I'd have a lot of kids come in and they would say really messed up things. And I don't mean necessarily against TOS, but it was the tone that they were always creating was very dark, and it took me 6 months to realize that they were the reason I wasn't growing anymore. Like they literally were stunting my growth because it didn't happen on a daily basis, but at least twice a week. I'd read a comment like somebody come into my channel and be like, oh, wow, this is really bad. Like, I can't be here or something. It was something like that. Something along the lines of like, oh, wow, this is really dark. I can't, this channel isn't for me or anything like that. And it literally took just after so long, I was like, I'm changing everything else I could possibly think of. And just so happy that these 20 people are here. So I keep encouraging them to be them. And then I'm trying to change everything else, and it was them the whole time. So when I finally 6 months later came around to it, I was like, there's nothing else left but them. Like, there's nothing else I could possibly change. Like, I've practiced my tonality, you know, the, hey, Drew, what's up, dude? How you doing today? You know, like, I've done just all that stuff, all the making people feel welcome. There's no amount of that was allowing me grow past the how dark they were making my chat. So, you know, like I basically I gave them an option. I was like, I was telling them, like, guys, this is hurting it. Like, there's nothing else. It's this. Some of them were able to stop doing it, and some of them weren't. And the ones that weren't had to get kicked because and I gave them a lot of time too. I mean, they gave me a lot of their time, so I gave them a lot of chances. But you know, I had to put my foot down, and they had to go. But that helped. Like, then after a month after that, after we quote unquote cleaned it up, I'm now at 40. Like, now, like, 40 is my consistent number and everything. And it was just little things like that. It's like, in life, everybody can be successful, but most people don't, because they don't realize that the changes that they have to make are so small that they appear ridiculous that they don't even bother changing those things.
Yeah.
But like, that's all it was. I just had to stop them from talking so dark in my chat. Like, that's all it was. I mean, I still curse and I still say dumb shit when I'm streaming, but I'm more of like I grew up on comedies, so a lot of what I say and everything like that, it's not because I actually believe it. It's because it's funny, or it's so fucked up it's funny.
Yeah.
And like, that's kind of where I'm coming from with like with my stream. So it is a mature channel. And, you know, I have a much stronger foundation of people that know that even if I say something messed up or whatever, like, they've been around long enough to know that, like, it's because it's funny. It's not, it doesn't make it true that I said it, or it doesn't mean that, like, I mean that or whatever. And they totally understand that, which is great, because that's kind of helping. Now I have people compliment me on my community constantly because I've gone through all of this. You know, I'll have people come in, like, it was literally just yesterday. Somebody comes in, hey, loved your videos on YouTube, first time here on Twitch. You know, like all the typical stuff, and I see that a lot. But yesterday they actually specifically said, after maybe being there for half an hour, 40 minutes, you know, like, wow, your chat is really helpful. Like, I really like it here because everyone's so nice and they're so helpful. So I might be saying things every once in a while that might seem like I'm ranting, and that's a big thing with me. Like, they love my rants. I love ranting, and they love them too. But like, somebody might come in and not be for that. And if you're not for my rants, like, I'm okay with that, but you need to be smart enough to leave if this isn't for you. Like, don't sit there and judge me or any of that sort of stuff, because that's not the tone. Like, that's not where we're going here. It's either like you get it because you're not super sensitive, or you or you just need to leave. Like, just go. You don't have to shit on the floor before you walk out of the house, you know? Like,
that is true.
Just go, you know? Like, but like, I have a great community that is super helpful, and they're there for my bitching and ranting and all that sort of stuff. So a lot of people will come in and they'll hear me, but then they'll see the chat and they're like, everyone rules here, you know? Like, and I feel like some people stick around because it's like twisted mentally. They're like, how is the chat so not toxic? But then he goes off on these rants every once in a while that are just like a little over the top, but everybody's so cool in chat. Like, how is that a thing? It's just, I don't know. Word of advice to anybody looking to get into streaming or already streaming or whatever. It's you need to control your community. My Twitch rep told this to me specifically because I brought up an instance with him where I saw another streamer, really big streamer. And what she did was she had it so that if anybody subbed to her, they could jump into her Discord and get on stream on the call. So, and this was like about a year ago. You know, it's like we've already could have assumed stuff like this would have happened.
Yeah.
So I'm surprised that she was running her channel this way. But people would come in, they would literally sub to her just to come into her chat. And this happened 3 times within 5 minutes. She got 3 subs. They all came in, and within 5 minutes, they all just started blasting a word that was a super no-no word.
Yep.
And she got rid of them and all that sort of stuff. I brought it up to my rep, and I'm like, I'm not going to say who it was. Why didn't they get in trouble for that? And he's like, well, as long as you're controlling the situation and being an adult about it, you're fine. So like, it's basically from Twitch's point of view, it's like if they would have come in there and done that and she would have been like, ah ha ha, oh stop it, then that would have been bad. But she took care of that crap right away. So the advice that I have for anybody getting into streaming and stuff like that is not that you have to be a super, stickler to people not behaving in a certain way, but like you need to know where they've clearly crossed the line. And when that happens, you need to take care of that. Like that is the accountability that Twitch wants from you if you're going to be a partner. It's not the accountability that you have to always watch what you say, but you have to control your chat and your channel. Like you are the leader. And what Twitch does not want is for you to build a community that's going to go attack anybody else in the world at your word.
Yep.
So like that's what they're looking for, is that you can be accountable by being an adult and controlling your chat and your channel.
Definitely. Stuff. And I think that's something that I think a lot of even growing content creators, they're afraid of that. They're afraid of even losing their initial 20 viewers I mean, it's a risk, if you try to get rid of a few bad eggs, then like maybe you have no eggs at all and maybe you can't grow from that. But it is very important to be able to curate your community just like you curate your content, because that's what will bring people in. And I think that's fantastic that you bring it up, because nobody really talks about that when they're on the podcast. Is they talk about the games that they play, how to play the games better, or what they do to bring people in, but they don't really talk about what to do with the people that are already there. And it's fantastic that you bring it up. I really, really appreciate that.
Thank you. Thank you for asking that question. I went through that 100%. Like anybody that's feeling that, I absolutely went through that too. I went through that's why it took me so long to blame chat for why I wasn't growing. Because, but they're supporting me. They're here now. It can't possibly be them. I can't throw them out. They're helping me grow. It's all that. But they weren't. They were helping me just stay stuck there. That's really what was happening. So like it's really how do I word this? You gotta risk it for the biscuit. Just in anything, like you gotta test things out. You gotta see how they work. Like I'm not everybody's channel. Everybody's different. So like if you're streaming, if you're stuck at a certain place, like I could give a lot of examples of things that I don't particularly care for when I watch other people's streams, and that's you have friends that aren't funny. Like that's a big thing that it gets to me. Like, and I'm not saying everybody that I have in my voice chat's funny, but at least we tease them when they're not being funny.
Yeah.
So we try to lighten it. We kind of make it like, at least for the audience, like, well, you're not alone in thinking they're not funny. We didn't think it was funny either. So you guys are totally good. Like, you're not crazy. I'm not going to sit here and pretend that was, let's get them an Emmy or something. What else? What other challenges is that? Oh, okay. Here's another one. This is also kind of coincide with controlling your chat. When you have people that talk over you and you're the streamer, so you get a sub come through and you want to be like, thank you for the sub, but you got so-and-so that won't shut up in your ear, and all the stream is hearing that too. I think my nastiness is justified so that people appreciate it, or at least the right people appreciate it. When I say nastiness, I mean, like, if I get a sub coming through and someone's going off in my ear, I'll be like, shut up, so-and-so, thank you for the sub, I appreciate the hell out of you. I'll do that whole thing, but like, I would literally just shut up, or something. I will be like, quiet, like whatever, anything. Just if I need to in that moment, I will just tell them to stop.
Yeah.
And like, in a way, it kind of wakes up stream a little bit, because some people, I'm sure, get into that like, yeah, I've been watching this stream, and all of a sudden startle effect, and they're like, I'm awake, and then they feel like they have emotions again, and I'm sure you learned in sales that emotions are what sell,
Yep.
So even though it's not necessarily geared towards the viewer, in particularly, I'm getting blood flowing in a sense.
Yeah.
So they're feeling a little more alive because they're getting startled in a sense, or whatever, or they're at least or I'm snowballing them through a whole lot of emotions. So in a sense, that's another effectful thing, I would imagine, at least in streaming. I haven't tested this. I just, based off of my sales knowledge, would assume that this is also working.
Mm-hmm. And I would assume so as well. And I mean, like the perfect practices and everything that you've put into place over all these years, it's led for like a lot of success, through your channel, through your YouTube channel. And I mean, through all this, what would you say your favorite accomplishment has been doing what you do?
My favorite accomplishment has been unlocking 45 emotes on my channel. The size of my channel, like that's
incredible.
Not right.
That's incredible.
Yeah, like I mean, that wasn't an accident either. I mean, there was strategy involved behind that. There was a lot of people think that, you know, you could just be a streamer on Twitch and you'll be successful over time. That's not gonna work that way. Like Twitch is a revolving door. You're constantly having people in and out of your streams. But like at the end of the day, if you don't find a niche on Twitch, if you don't stand out, and you're just being a gamer like I am, like a lot of other gamers, you need to do it smarter. Like you need to be a smarter gamer than everybody else. And it's just one little thing or two that could make you stand out above everybody else that's also a gamer but just has a dead channel. It's like it's really, there's not that many little things that you would need to change to just stand out and then get people to notice and want to keep coming back. Most important being like giving a shit about your people. It's so huge. But like if you don't care about them, why should they care about you? It's almost like it's a law of the universe.
Yeah.
Like, you know, given the and like there's so many like
the golden
give
rule,
and
yeah.
receive. Yeah, it's like, you know, you can't reap the rewards without planting the seeds first. You know, you have to grow the crops. And basically in that sense, caring about everybody first is you growing the crops. Over time, and it will take time, but you'll have, you know, you once like you'll get ripe fruit here and there, you know, that'll come out of that. And then everything else is just kind of like they'll either just not keep coming back or whatever it is, but it doesn't matter. You're not focused on I just read this yesterday or the day before, and I don't remember if it was like Gandhi or somebody else, but it was something along the lines of like you can't focus on the fruits, like you can't expect the fruits. Even if you go your whole life never seeing any fruits, you have to go like every day you need to be focused on the crop. Like you need to be planting, you need to be putting the seeds down, you need to be watering them, the work creates the rewards. And the work, there's no length of time for the work. You know, like arguably I could say from what I've learned is that if you work harder, or if you work smarter, which I like better than working harder, which is where
definitely.
Not working 16-hour streams is a good thing, actually. Like if you, it's another thing too, that people will be like, yeah, if I do 16-hour streams, that's what everybody says will help me grow. But then what you don't realize is you only had energy for an hour or two of that 16 hours. So really you were on point for like an hour or two, and then you had 14 hours of just garbage. Yep. Like, where's your energy? You know, like where's all that? It hurts you, you know? So what's more important is that you focus on the work and you don't worry about the rewards. And if you do the work long enough and smart enough, the rewards will happen. But you shouldn't ever be focused on the rewards. That's not what it's about. So in other words, I don't care like who comes to my stream. I'm going to be nice to them until they give me a reason to believe otherwise. Like I will let them determine whether I should kick them, ban them, be nasty to them, curse them out, whatever. Like they can determine that. But I'm going to be nice to them from the beginning until they give me a reason to believe otherwise.
And that's fantastic to go by, actually. Like sometimes people just assume like everybody's out to get them, and it's really nice to be able to have like a you know, channel people can go and they're like they're treated as a human being and not a number.
Yeah, I don't think I'm a bad gamer. Actually, I mean, I'll be honest. I'm not super egotistical, but here's an egotistical comment. I'm not number one at anything, but I'm above average at probably every video game I've ever played. Mm-hmm. Like, and I don't necessarily mean like the first time I play it, but I learn very quickly whatever game I'm playing, and I usually get the hang of it and I get into the swing of it very quickly. And that's why I feel like in my blood and my bones, I am a gamer, like by far. Like I definitely could play the game. Here's the big thing. Like you could even test this out when I'm streaming, but like, I don't always do face cam on stream, but when I do, you could totally just tell when I'm reading chat. And I point this out to my stream too. Like I have 3 monitors, right? And my chat is over here. My game is over here. And I'll literally be like reading chat and out of the peripheral vision of my eye be making my way through the game. Like I'm not even kidding. Like that's how long I've played Warframe for. Is I don't even have to look at it directly. I can literally just beat the game without even really looking at it directly.
There you go. Yeah, you've logged some serious hours in a Warframe. Do you have a you know, an hour count that you know on the top of your head how long you've played Warframe?
So Warframe has an interesting layout. Actually, you probably know this for games on Steam. If you look at it, how much time you spent on a game on Steam, it'll basically tell you how long that game has been open.
Yep.
So that doesn't count if you're AFKing the game just being open, you know? That being said, in mission time across all platforms, and this is like cumulative, not per platform. Oh, I have over 5,000 hours in Warframe across all the platforms. So that's PC, Xbox, PS4, and Switch.
That's incredible. That's that's a lot of time, especially to, you know, and using that time effectively is something that you've done, especially in 5,000 hours, to always be creating content and stuff like that with that much time. Were you always streaming like those 5,000 hours for Warframe, or was there like a lot of off-stream grinding as well between the different consoles and platforms?
When it comes to Warframe, I mean, I don't know the specific answer of this. I do know that if I'm on Warframe and I'm not streaming, especially now after playing it for so long, and like we talked about burnout and where that line is,
Yeah.
I don't play Warframe off stream anymore unless I'm making a video for YouTube.
That's probably the smartest way to do that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just to avoid, yeah, because burnout is such a huge thing with a lot of creators these days. But there are a lot of things that we basically have to go through outside of burnout. I mean, over the years, there's probably bound to be something that happened where you had to, you know, learn from or had a most memorable failure. Is there any like moment that really sticks out that you really, really could have just done better throughout the years you've been on Twitch?
Yeah. I mean, I feel like every day, because like now I'm even still like I'm still figuring this out. Like I'm still learning, but I have been trying, and I've gotten better. I've been trying to figure, but I'm still not done with this one. I really want to nail this somehow. I've been trying to figure out how to rant in a way where people understand not to take it personal. Because I never meant it that way. Most of my community already knows don't take it personal, but it's the new people that come through that are fresh, that hear me going off for the first time, that are like, oh my God, this guy's so angry. And they didn't know previously that I get it off my chest the moment it happens so that I can continue being happy after that. I was laughing a couple days ago on stream about this, that like, I kind of realized, I was like, you know, there are probably loads of people that probably think I'm the grumpiest person on the planet because of how much I rant about stuff. But the reality of it is because I rant, I get all that stress out, and I'm actually one of the happiest people. Like, I feel like one of the happiest people on the planet. And I feel like a lot of people don't get that and wouldn't believe it because of how much I rant at things on stream. Like, if something pisses me off, I'm going to tell you about it right this second. Because if I hold it in, and this is psychological too, like there've already been studies that say, you know, people that are stressed all the time don't age well. They don't live longer than people that aren't stressed. And now let's take that with another study that they've done and put those together. The other study that they've done is that people that bitch a lot live longer. So the right thing to do, like, let's put this together now. The right thing to do is bitch about stuff as soon as it happens and don't hold it in. Be healthier and live longer. It's amazing how that works. But yet you have all the, yeah, that's another word vomit thing with society. People like, oh, you need to calm down or just relax. Like, no, I tell my stream all the time, I'm like, you guys, if somebody is not being physically violent when they're going off, encourage them to go off and just let it out. Just from a psychological point of view, just encourage them to let it out. As long as no one's getting hurt, they're not breaking anything, just let them let it out. Don't sit there and be, you know, the pretend friend when really you're becoming an enemy to that person's subconscious because their body is the reason they're letting it out. It's not their mind. If they had, you know, like any intelligence would tell you, you know, that's not attractive to people. I guess unless you do it in a funny way, which I try to do in a funny way, I guess when I'm ranting, I try to be funny about it. But like, I mean, anybody will tell you all the ranting and all that sort of stuff from like the typical word vomit that people hear, you know, they're just under the impression that it's bad, that like, you know, you should relax, just don't let stuff bother you, whatever. Yeah, you know, here's another piece of advice. Don't be a human being. there's another thing too. Yeah, don't let stuff bother you. That's like, yeah, why don't you, just don't be a person. It's a good idea.
And I mean, probably something that you might have learned from sales too. I mean, when has it ever worked or been the proper point in any, like, whether somebody's angry or anything, where saying, please, sir, can you calm down, ever helped? Or I'm gonna need you to calm down. When has that ever helped not escalate a situation?
Yeah, right. Like, I mean, I don't know if it's because I'm from New York or whatever, but like I'm at the board, I don't know, maybe it's the years of like friends that I've always been a yellow personality that basically like yellows are the glue that hold friendships together. That's how it's defined. So like literally I will talk to anybody. It doesn't matter. Like I don't look at a person and say like, oh, well, you're too this or you're acting like that. So I wouldn't talk. Like, I don't care. You could literally look like a crackhead. If you're not going to hurt me or I don't think you're going to hurt me, I'll talk to you. Like, I don't care. I used to deliver the pizza to like an insane hospital, like an asylum and stuff for like the people that were there, like the patients. And some of them could just get on like 5 to 10 minutes of just telling me about the most random crap in the world, whatever. But at least I'm like, at least it was interesting. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, what am I really losing? You know what I mean? Like, I'm still alive. They're not trying to hurt me. You know, like, and it's whatever. But I don't remember how do we get on this?
You know, I'm not really sure, to be honest, but like realistically, I do love hearing about, you know, kind of how like your mind works and the whole like realm of content creation and how to treat people as, I mean, with Twitch, they go hand in hand. But I mean, like, you do a lot both on Twitch and YouTube and just content creation in general. Where can people really find, you know, more about what you do? Is it, would you say
more about what I do or more about what
you do?
Like,
so like if you were to tell somebody that you're a content creator, do you direct them to your YouTube first? Do you direct them to Twitch, your Twitter?
It depends. Well, it's always tie your medias together. I think it's a big mistake a lot of new people don't know to do. It's that if you're on YouTube, you're always sending them to Twitch. And if you're on Twitch, you're always sending them to YouTube or whatever your main things are. Like maybe you're an Instagram star and you're getting started on Twitch, then send them back to Instagram. You know, like whatever your main platforms are, you marry those two. And you always keep them in sync. But like, I don't know. I mean, is that kind of answer the question? I guess
that's a great answer to the question. Because I mean, for those that might be listening to the podcast, they might not have seen you play Warframe, seen your YouTube or your Twitch channel before. They're just hearing the name, you know, NeoNess for the first time, and they're wondering, you know, where they go to find out more about you. Where would you send them first? Probably your Twitch channel or
my YouTube channel if you're looking for info. My Twitch channel if you're looking for a cool place to hang out. Like that's it. I mean, it really 100%. Like my stream, I'm not trying to be an like YouTube is for education and content and stuff like that. And Twitch is like that too, but only if they ask. If they're not asking, we're just chilling. Like we're totally hanging out. And I'm not even going to try to act like, you know, everybody else isn't doing that too, but just stop on my streams. You'll totally see. The vibe is different. The community is great. I've been very methodical about it through the whole thing. You know, I've tried a lot of things. I've paid very close attention to what has worked, what hasn't worked. There's been a point where like, there's actually, you know what? Yeah, I'm going to end it on that. But there are two things that I actually want to get back to that you had mentioned that I feel like would be good for people. So like, okay. When you said for the achievement thing, like what was the greatest achievement? Unlocking 45 emotes. I did that by averaging about 30,000 viewers for a week. Mm-hmm. And this is where strategy comes in. And I definitely made a lot of haters that were also content creators as well. And I'm going to continue to be real here. That's not my fault that you didn't notice I've already done this strategy twice before in the past in the same damn directory. So everybody that gave me shit about that needs to pull their head out of their ass. Because they went ham on me when 30,000 people showed up that one time. But the time before that, it was no more than 13,000. And the time before that, I don't think it was more than 5,000. Might not even been more than 3,000. But like, it's the same strategy basically that I was doing. And I was basically just, all right, so you know, like most content creators, we don't have all the money to spend, like Bungie, for example, $500 million on Destiny. Yes. You know, that didn't obviously, unless you're not that bright of a person, you can tell that didn't go into the game. Like that $500 million did not go into the game itself. Most of that money went into marketing the game. And that's smart from them. That means that they know how it works. It doesn't matter if your content is super good or super crap. It's better if it's super good, but even if it's super crap, if you spend $500 million on, like, let's just pretend you spend $500 million on even crappy content, you're going to have more numbers than Ninja, probably Tim the Tapman and Lupo, everybody he hangs out with, you know, combined. Like, you won't need Drake to be in your stream to set a record on Twitch, basically.
Yeah.
Like, so marketing is really huge. So what I did for the strategy was, being that I'm just I still don't have that kind of capital for like this whole, you know, experience or whatever. You just piggyback on other companies that are doing that. You know, like, that's not a hard thing to do either. Now, to everybody that's listening to this, that's brand new, that's like, oh, that's great. I'm going to cut through all the other crap, like the self-improvement stuff, and I'm just going to go right to the strategy. You're shitting the bed if you're doing it. You need to always be working on yourself. There's not a day that goes by that I'm not learning something new. Like, there is, like for example, like just yesterday, I mean, that Gandhi quote or whatever I was saying before, like, it's the point. It's not necessarily me remembering where it came from. You know what I mean? But like, the point is that, like, every day I'm learning something new. Like, I just need to. I've done this for so many years already because of what I learned in finance. I had a lot of really wealthy people training me to be a leader. Basically, a lot of really wealthy people training me to manage their businesses, and, you know, basically create managers and vice presidents and stuff for them. And although I was in the training for this too, I hated the sales. And that's why it wasn't going to work out for me. But I loved the training. I absolutely loved the training. Like, I've already stood up in front of rooms of like thousands of people and done classes on just human behavior and shit like that. Like, just the funniest thing is that, like, I'm happier now because I can still do that, but I can curse more. Because, like, back then it was like, you know, like, you're in a room of 1,000 professionals or whatever, and it's like, you don't really want to be too real and just say it like it is, because, you know, you're trying to be professional here.
Yeah.
Me, I'm a gamer, and if you've ever known a gamer, we're not going to watch our freaking mouths. Like, it's just as I self-believe myself.
There you go. And I mean, with all this knowledge that you've picked up over the years, and, you know, whether you got it from sales or finance or anything, if there's one thing you could tell yourself on your first stream, what would it be? If, like, with everything that you know now, and if you could go back to type in chat when you were streaming your first time, what would you tell yourself?
I already knew to dress the part. So I did in the beginning, but I wasn't that good at dressing in the beginning. So I'm a little bit better. Like, my channel's a little more organized. I have more things married. More things are linked up to each other, so it's a little bit more better. So it wouldn't be that, because I already knew that. What would I tell myself at the beginning? I feel like I was already telling myself this. Like, I already predicted these things. Like, this is gonna suck. You're gonna have months of nobody being here. Like, I felt like I was already telling myself that. Like, you know, this is. But just keep going. We're going to make this work. Like, it literally is. I don't know what I would tell myself. What I would tell new people is, though, and this is 100% to cut through the like, just cut into the heart of it all, is that if you are experiencing crap and you're not happy with your results and you've been doing it for a while, you know within you that you need to do something different.
Yeah.
And that's all. Like, so just do something different. If you're not doing something different, I don't care if I'm the one that tells you the truth. You need to hear it. You're not going to win. Like, it's not going to work out for you. You have to do something different. If you've been doing the same crap for months and if nothing is changing, you have to be that person that recognizes that when you hit a plateau, it's not forever, as long as you realize you're always in control of what happens to a degree, and you have to work on that. From your end, you need to work on you always, because you were the only person you can always control. Not necessarily like, you know, if something happens, you start flying off at the mouth or whatever. Like, that's understandable. Yeah. But like long-term wise, like, let's say, you know, instead of in the moment wise, we'll look at the day wise. You can control your day. You know, you can control your week. You can control, and the more you do that, the it's exponentially just going to pan out. You know, you're gonna have better results in the long run if you realize that you were the reason for all your successes and you were the reason for all your failures. Yeah, you're going to need people to be there in order to help you be successful and stuff like that. But you're the one that turned your stream on. You're the one that, you know, like, I don't know word this, like, because this is a really tricky thing for a lot of content creators. I've seen YouTubers even struggle with this one before, because it's, yes, 100%, we would be nowhere without our audience.
Yes.
But our audience wouldn't even know about us if we didn't turn on the damn camera.
That's
fantastic.
Like,
if we didn't start the stream. So, like, yeah, they're not wrong, but you also need to realize that, like, stop pandering to your audience. That was the other big lesson. I'm sorry, Clap. That was the other big lesson that I really wanted to get into. A lot of people I noticed struggle with. It's that, and this is huge. This is psychologically huge. A lot of people go through this. The most easily relatable thing that people go through this with is in relationships. And it's, you want this person so bad that you act like you need them. And that makes you super unattractive. So, like, if you're a streamer that acts like you need your audience to be there, you're super unattractive. And that's going to cause them to go. But if you're just relaxed and you're enjoying what's going on in the whole process, you don't act like you need anybody to be there, you're just having fun no matter what, that's attractive. The moment you start acting like, you know, you need people to be there, like, I fortunately was in a relationship where I was smothered. Like, I was put on a pedestal. I was, you know, like, literally just treated like a prince or a king or whatever, you know, growing up. And 11 months into that relationship, and I had to break up with her. And, like, this girl did everything for me. But, like, I never realized that this is what I used to do to my ex-girlfriends before her. It's like, I used to put them on a pedestal and all that sort of stuff. I'm not afraid to admit this. Like, you know, you live, you learn. And at least if I can get into this and other people can learn from this too. But, like, I don't particularly care that I used to be like this. I'm not like that anymore because I've learned better. But if you smother the crap out of people and you act like you need them in your life, it's super turn off. Like, you can't, if I say this to my stream all the time when this sort of content comes up, when this context comes up or whatever, but, like, if you can't love yourself, why the fuck is anybody else supposed to love you?
Yeah.
You know, like, you need to, like, I don't know, yeah. For anybody that's new at streaming or whatever, don't act like you need people to be there. You want them to be there, and that's cool. But the moment you start acting like you need them there, the moment you start getting upset because they haven't been showing up, or the moment you start getting upset because you're not getting enough subs or bits or donations or whatever that sort of stuff, you're going to fly off at the mouth and you're going to lose even more people because that shit ain't what people signed up for.
Exactly.
You need to not need them in your own mind, and that'll make you more attractive. Like, then they'll want to come by because now from their point of view, they don't feel any pressure. They don't feel that, you know? So it's comfortable. It makes for a better environment. Like, I still have shit months every once in a while, but I don't take it out on anybody. You know what I mean? Like, and that's fine. I have really good months and I have really crappy months. And I think another thing a lot of new people don't realize when they're new to Twitch is that, or YouTube even, is that that's normal. Like, you're supposed you don't, it's not supposed to be a straight up incline unless you're busting it. Like, if you're busting your butt, like, let's, like, Mr. Beast, for example, beginning of last year, 2018, what did he have, like 1 million or 2 million subscribers? And now he's got 20 million.
It's crazy.
He was busting it last year. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
You can do that and have a great increase, you know, all the way through. But on average, that ain't how it works. You know, like, you just, normally Twitch it has its ups and it's up and down months, just like YouTube. And you can't let that get to you. You can't, you have to realize that's all it is. You know, you just keep doing you, keep being positive, and you have to keep looking for those moments, those strategies, those opportunities to work smarter and not harder. Because if you just let the crappy months happen and you don't continue to get on your grind and realize that, like, because realistically, this is the way that I see it. The months go up and the months go down, and it's just a cycle like that. Every time there is a down month, if I don't intentionally do something to create more of an up, to create more of a boost, I'm just letting it continue to go down over time. So you need to be doing other things. You can't just be a streamer and win on Twitch unless you just happen to be number one in whatever that game is. And that game has a crowd that cares that you're number one. You know, like, you need to do other things.
And I think that's perfectly said. And I'm so very thankful that, like, this isn't typically brought up on typical, you know, podcasts that we do with OPSEAT. And, you know, there's so much truth in that. The fact that, like, we create our own destiny, and you need to be able to, like, recognize those trends, just like you're saying, and create your own. I think that's very important for creators, is realize this is basically it's up to us as creators to start the stream and to create those trends. People aren't going to do it for you.
Yeah. And I like how you said create those trends, right? Like it doesn't have to be something someone's done already. You can create something totally new that just gets attention. You know, like you're allowed to do that. You're a creator. You create stuff. It doesn't have to. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, it's what we're supposed to do, I guess.
Yeah, like when like it's almost like you're handed a canvas and it didn't have like, you know, the coloring book lines already drawn on it. So you're like, well, I don't know what to draw then.
Yeah.
Like, then you're not really a creator then.
Yep. So it's wonderful to be able to grab your insight, and really it's been a pleasure talking to you and having you on the podcast. You shed some light on a lot of things that we don't typically get to have on here, and we're so very thankful for that. We're also thankful for you being an OPSEAT partner, and it's been a pleasure having you on the OPSEAT video podcast. It really, truly has been. I'm so very happy to have talked to you.
Well, likewise. Thank you for having me as a partner. I honestly love these chairs. I talk very highly about them when they're brought up. But yeah, I really, really appreciate the chairs. Thank you for having me as a partner and even having me on the podcast. And yeah, listen, I don't need to do another one, but if you want me, I'm available.
Perfect. Well, I'm certain we'll be in touch, and you know, I wish you the best of luck and everything that you do. It's going well.
Drew, you as well. Thank you.
Thank you.